Live from Caroline's on Broadway, SiriusXM presents SummerSlam 4.
Welcome back. It's SummerSlam 4. We're here at Caroline's on Broadway in New York City. It's SummerSlam week, and as I said, we've been doing this for 4 years. A couple of years ago, I was hosting a show before I was doing the wonderful Jim Norton and Sam Roberts every morning. I hosted a show at nights called Sam Roberts Show, and it was just me and the wackadoos that would call in every single night. And one of these wackadoos was named 16-year-old JC, and today. Not only is he in the audience, but it's his 18th birthday. Can you believe that? JC, everybody. Happy birthday, buddy. Now, I told you at the top of the show, it's SummerSlam week. A lot of championships are on the line. And as I said, the Raw Women's Championship is on the line. But the WWE Championship is also on the line. On Sunday, on the WWE Network. Free, by the way, for new subscribers. My next guest will challenge AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Samoa Joe. There he is, Samoa Joe. What a cool dude. I wish I had that presence about me, that aura. I've never seen anything like it before. It's amazing.
So it's a comedy club, right?
It is a comedy club, yeah.
The mic's working? Oh,
there they go. There they go. They were sleeping behind the wheel. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Samoa Joe. Thank you for being here.
World famous Caroline's.
World famous Caroline's on Broadway. And what do you think it is about you? It's amazing to me that wherever you go, I feel like there's love for Samoa Joe no matter how hard you try. You were literally on television this week telling a man he was a bad father and his wife didn't want him to wrestle anymore. And then you come out here and it's Joe, 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 Joe.
You know, Sam, it's because I'm a lot deeper character than you want to give me credit for. Many of these people out here are from broken homes, and they've experienced fathers who have let them down time after time, told their lies and not been a part of their family. Just know that for all you poor, single parent children out there, I'm your champion. You know? I will go forth and I will find the men who have wronged you, and I will tell them what scumbags they are. And I know your mother loves most of you, but just know Samoa Joe loves you too.
I guess the thing a lot of people don't realize, Samoa Joe is for the children.
It's for the children.
At the end of the day.
Much like Wu-Tang. You know, it's just,
Samoa Joe and Wu-Tang.
A lot of similarities there.
It's for the children.
For the children.
Yeah. Shaolin Joe is what they call you, right?
Nah.
How much do you love it that you have something like this? You know, the AJ Styles Samoa Joe WWE Championship match. It's a match that sells itself. It's a match that could be built on the history of AJ Styles and Samoa Joe all around the world. But there's something to me as a fan that makes it cooler that there is a storyline happening, that this is about watching a guy wanting to beat up another guy because now he's disrespecting his family.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the only thing we could do to motivate AJ enough to actually want to get in the ring with me.
Is that right?
No, honestly, it's cool from the idea that, throughout most of my career, I've looked across locker rooms with several different companies and several different places, and I've seen AJ Styles sitting right there. Wherever I've gone and whatever I've accomplished and done, I've looked across that room and I've seen AJ Styles keeping pace with me, and right there the entire time. And it's a testament to his ability as a performer and who he is, as a person and who he is in the ring. And to find ourselves now, years later, still fighting the same battles, but the fans still with it. And here in WWE, it's a special kind of treat for a lot of us. And I think for a lot of fans, a lot of people kind of counted us, this scenario out.
Oh, yeah.
I hear this all the time. Man, 5 years ago. Man, if 5 years ago you would have told me Samoa Joe and AJ Styles were going to headline SummerSlam, I would have told you were crazy. And 5 years ago, we were sitting there going, yeah, we could probably pull this off. And all y'all,
So
y'all crazy. But in all honesty, we always knew we were capable of. We just needed an opportunity, and opportunities. We waited on it, and we made our inroads, and we made those opportunities happen, and here we are. So it's a special treat to be here and be in these circumstances.
What do you suppose it is about you and AJ? Because I feel like you guys, more than almost any of similar stories, have taken, I don't know if it's taken advantage of opportunities, but have risen to the top. People go like, oh, if this guy comes up from NXT, they're not going to use him right. Or if this guy comes in from Japan or the Indies, they're not going to use him right. And Samoa Joe and AJ Styles every time is the counter to the argument. Like, I feel like, and I think you guys would agree with me, as much as you guys have done, you've done such a tremendous job inside WWE that when you're looked at, you're not looked at as world travelers. You're looked at as WWE superstars. What is it about you two specifically that you think pulls that off?
We're better than everybody else.
I see.
I think
I see.
it's the biggest. No, hey, I'll be honest with you. Like, a lot of what fans, they won't be used right. They won't be this. They won't be that. We're not looking at it from that perspective. We're not looking at, oh, hey, I want to go to WWE and I hope they use me right. I looked at it as I'm going to go to WWE, kick the door in, and I'm going to make them use me right. And I think a lot more people need to take that attitude. If you're gonna do things in your life and be responsible for your career, then be responsible for your career. Like, you're responsible for your success. And anybody who got in your way or who stopped you or barred your success, you either push through them or you work around them. And I don't have a lot of time for excuses and crying about people saying I wasn't given a fair opportunity. Nobody gives you anything. Nobody gave me an opportunity. 18 years ago, I was shut out of this company and told I would never step foot in it ever. And subsequently afterwards, I heard tons of reports. Nah, they never hire him. They never hire him. When I left my old company was assured that, don't worry, he'll be back. They will never hire him. That was actually said. And we'll get him for less money. He's stupid. He's outpriced himself in the market. He's insane if he thinks Vince McMahon would ever hire him. Well, thankfully Triple H was around, so he hired me right away.
Well, you did capitalize on a wave of the business, like, changing completely. And I think that the wave was forming almost around you, in the sense that you show up at NXT, but it's still you're still doing other indie dates alongside NXT.
I had the greatest deal in the history of professional wrestling. I could work freely for WWE, anybody else I wanted to, and I could collect income from every one of those companies that they would have merchandise, the whole nine. So it was a really good deal. But I mean, obviously, I think my prospects in WWE, they felt they were extremely limited, even initially when I got in, and that's fine. I mean, and here's the thing is that, like, this is something that's not new to me. There's never been a company that has ever wanted me, and that sounds insane. What are you talking about, man? When I went to ROH, I remember my first day in ROH, I was flown out. I had a match with Low Key that the promoter at the time, Gabe Sapolsky. Sweet. Damn, y'all old. But he watched it and he said, I want that here in ROH, this new burgeoning company, and I want to see that brutal match here. So I flew out to Philadelphia, and I remember meeting with Gabe and him telling me straight to my face, listen, I can't afford to be flying people out from California every month. So thank you for doing this tonight, but I just want to let you know before we get into anything that I don't think there's much prospect for us doing business in the future.
Which, by the way, great. If you're a prospective employee, Great way to start.
Great way, yeah, man.
You're not
Great
worth
way,
a
right,
plane
yeah.
ticket.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I kind of told him I'm not worth the plane ticket, but which I found hilarious. Which I was cool with at the time because I had a job in Japan. I was like, I don't need your ass. So I came in, we did the match, and the match got done, and then the fans were receptive. When I walked in the back, and Gabe Sapolsky looked at me and says, "Hey, man, what does your March look like? We want to book you for every show from now until forever." And and I got my job with ROH that way. And when I stepped into TNA, I refused TNA 3 or 4 times before I ever stepped foot. And obviously, I was dedicated to ROH, and they were financially, we were in a great agreement, and I wasn't going to break that just for television. And I got into ROH, I got into TNA, and then finally they said, hey, listen, we've lost our television, but we hear you're really big with the internet people, the internet fans, which I was just like, Jesus, you're still calling them internet fans at this point. And I go,
tiny little section of wrestling fans that have the internet.
Actually, we just call them fans now. Everybody has the internet. I don't know if you heard about it.
Yeah.
So he goes, we'd love to bring you into TNA. And at the time, I had a buddy who was actually working for Viacom. And I was in the biz back in the day, back in L.A. And he goes, hey, man, I think Spike's going to pick up TNA. And of course, nobody else knew this information, very secret insider information. So,
this is cool. Wrestling insider trading.
Yeah, totally, yeah. If there was a Fed, I'd be in jail right now. So I went in and I said, listen, they wanted to sign me up to a horrible deal right away. I said, no. I go, listen, how about I just come in, I'll do a couple shots, and if you like what you see, then we'll negotiate a deal. So we did. And also I knew about their television deal, which I would be getting more money from. So came in, did a couple shots, held it off until the Spike TV announcement was made. Then I said, pay me, goddammit, you know you need my ass. And then I started in TNA, which
That's
also
amazing.
did want me. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. So, have you always been like a business-headed person?
Yes, I am in the wrestling business. All right? Let it be known right now, I am a wrestler, and I love the art of professional wrestling. But ladies and gentlemen, I am in the wrestling business. And I've been in the wrestling business for the better part of 20 years. I quit my day job a year after I started training, and I've been doing this ever since. So, when people talk about this industry and they think they have a handle on it, you don't, because I know the real numbers. I know what the industry can support. I've been out there. I've been on the ground level, and I've been to the top of this industry. I've worked for every company imaginable in every possible position, and I proudly say, and I support guys who go out there and know their worth and ask for their worth and expect their worth. We sacrifice ourselves every day when we go out there into that ring, and I do it proudly. I know what I signed up for, and I do not shy away from that fact at all. There's a good chance I will be in a wheelchair when I'm 60, and hey, I signed up for that. I know that. That being said, I have extreme amount of respect for people who do value their worth and do maintain the integrity of the business. And I think when guys go out there and they sell themselves short and they're out here, booking themselves out when they're really talented, and devaluing the market, I'm very, very opposed to that. So, I just tell guys, hey, always know your worth, always get paid what you're worth, and always know that, if you are worth it, you will get that number. So, I support guys who do that.
Well, yeah, and it's a dangerous thing. I think any profession that is a quote-unquote dream job, right? Any profession that when somebody's a little kid, they say, that's what I want to do, you run the risk of when you become adult, you'll do it for little to no money. And
it's across the board in entertainment everywhere.
Right.
And it's not being egotistical and not, it's coming to an agreement and coming to a real business agreement. I think a lot of people, whether it be music, whether it be professional wrestling, acting, a lot of times they go out there and they absolutely just bastardize themselves as a product, and they give it themselves for free, and then they don't expect compensation, and then they wonder why people don't respect them. Well, it's because you don't respect yourself enough to go out there and be treated with respect. So I'm a big proponent of guys, especially now with the big boom in independent wrestling. I want these guys to go out there, know their worth, and definitely demand of these companies better, because these companies are making money. I always get this all the time. I did a rant the other day. I said, pay your wrestlers, pay your independent guys. If you want to build a company and make it strong, then put these guys under a contract. And then, independent companies don't have money, they can't do contracts. Well, if a company don't have money, that means there's something wrong with the company. not
Right.
the wrestler, not me asking.
That's a social club,
That's
not a company.
social problem. And people are getting hot at, yelling at me on Twitter like, oh, well, he just say you got a big old WWE contract. I'm like, bitch, I had 18 years of grinding out in here and working for everyone and everything in the world. Yeah, I know. Yes, am I an expert? Yes, I am an expert. I'm an expert on independent wrestling. I'm an expert on wrestling for one of the bigger companies, man. And I really want to get that message across, man. If there's independent guys out there, hey, and independent companies, run it like a company, man. Run it with a company with a future and know what your future holds and put away that money on the side to lock down some of those guys to build your product. And if you're not doing that, then you're not really running a company. You're just kind of you're playing at wrestler. You're not in the business. You're just in the game.
Right. But you're also having a good time.
Oh,
is a thing, and
fantastic time.
I could tell that because first time I met you, first time I interviewed you, you were not at WWE.
No,
you were a miserable man. I was like, I don't know if.
Well, yeah, because I had to go down to this god awful interview. I didn't know I was gonna have to be in.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think Samoa Joe's that cool of a guy. I'm going to stay out of his way. Just not. And then the second time I interviewed you was right after you'd gotten into WWE and NXT and all that. And I was like, this dude's the man. What changed?
The money? Yeah. I think my money wasn't right then. And then when you met me the second time,
it was right.
I was loaded. And I was just like, what up, Sam? Hey, man, it's my dog. No, honestly, it wasn't an unhappiness thing. It was literally... it was MVP, Homicide, and Low Key going, hey, man, we're going down to Sirius. And I was like, oh, cool, whatever. And I thought we were just going down to Sirius, and they were going to do something. And then all of a sudden, I'm in an interview, and I was just like, what this? Who booked me for this? But it was cool. We had a good time, so it was nice. And the second time, I think it was just a nicer day for me.
Yeah. It was a blast, and it's always been a blast ever since. So when you're having the matches that you had before you got to WWE, whether it's TNA, whether it's ROH, whether it's around the world, do you have these matches where, like, is there a high that comes with having a good match, and then I don't know if it's a low or if it's just this feeling of why would WWE not be looking at me? I'm having some of the best matches in the world. What's their issue? Or does it not occur to you?
It wasn't an issue to me because, at the time, I worked in a developmental for WWE. So, I was actually, training talent and readying talent to make the transition, over to the WWE system. So it's like I knew I had the checklist. I knew what they wanted.
Right.
And and honestly, it made my decision easier because, if that door was closed to me, then, okay, I can take focus off of trying to go to WWE and focus 100% on working at these other places. So for me, it was just like, it wasn't like, oh, dang, WWE, you don't want me, I'm shut out the business. It was like, well, let's go make some more business elsewhere. And,
right.
And we did. And in my time in doing that, the whole time I wasn't sitting there going, man, I just sold out the Budokan. How come WWE isn't hiring me? Like, I just sold out the Budokan. Why do I care about WWE hiring me?
Right.
And the deals were good and the business was good. And even in my time in TNA, for however people felt creatively about what I was doing, I knew that we had a good business arrangement and they took care of me. My checks weren't late. I know some people's were, but mine weren't. And so it's hard for me to knock.
You probably wouldn't have stuck around if they were.
Yeah, oh no, trust me. I would have been a phantom. But they did make an extraordinary effort in keeping right with my deal. And, when eventually that wore away, then I was done with them, and then WWE came up.
Were you surprised that you got moved to the main roster, or is it one of those things that, no, once they see me, they're going to want to move me up there?
I think after the first week, main roster was kind of already, it was happening. When they got the first merch numbers, when, and the viewership numbers and other stuff, a lot of different aggregates that come in. I just remember the next. I think the simplest way to describe it was I had debuted on NXT. I went to the studio the next day for the tapings. Hunter had walked off his bus, came up, shook my hand, and goes, "Oh, hey, congratulations!" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Hey, #2 in merch last night." Whew. And I went, "Oh, #2 in merch. I mean, for NXT, that's pretty good." He's like, "No, for the company." And I was like, I was like, who the hell was #1 then, man? And he said, oh, it was Kevin Owens, but he had just debuted against Cena, and I was like, well, yeah, I'll take those. I'll take those numbers. I'll take those numbers. You know,
Which is also, I mean, it's beautiful because then they're almost stuck with you keep your name, right? It's like,
yeah. That
brought
was
me
the other
in.
thing too. Was well, and like I did my due diligence. I mean, I own my name, and a lot of guys don't take the time to do that. But
You told me a long time ago you got a dope lawyer.
dope lawyer. Oh, the best lawyer. Oh, he's real grimy. In fact, he oh, the stuff I've gotten away with. No, he's in fact, you know, he was actually instrumental in the SmackDown deal too, and he's an awesome guy, and he set me up good a long time ago, and it helped when I came here. But yeah, that was the best part because now I'm Samoa Joe. We've sold all these T-shirts. I've debuted on TV, and now they're like, we gotta let him keep the goddamn name. So you know, I did, and yeah, the rest is history.
Does missing WrestleManias, is that something that affects a guy like you? Like, oh, I wanted to be at WrestleMania, or are you like, bro, I wasn't even supposed to be here at all. Like I've got a WWE championship.
No,
match at SummerSlam.
missing WrestleMania sucks because it's you know it's a hallmark event. I mean, it's
Yeah.
this huge event, and you know, and everybody's working for it throughout the year towards you know getting on WrestleMania and getting a big match on WrestleMania. It's kind of it's an annual goal, I think, for a lot of the people here, and you know, injuries are injuries. I mean, honestly. It probably didn't affect me as much as other people, but that's mainly just because I've been in this game and I've been in this grind and I know what the injury deal is, and it wasn't a big deal. But anytime you miss WrestleMania, it sucks, both from a personal standpoint and a financial standpoint. So it's kind of a twofold dagger. But hey, listen, I've main evented all the other ones, so I guess it's all right.
You can't complain. Something that you have perspective on that most people on this planet are curious about but don't, especially in this era. What's it like to be in the ring with Brock Lesnar one-on-one?
Brock is basically they've shaved an ape. And they gave him a buzz cut. No, like Brock is, you know, I think he's everything people imagine to be. I mean, unnaturally strong, incredible athlete, very, very vicious, very, very aggressive. And Brock's thing is, you know, he's gonna lean on people, and if you're not aggressive and if you don't meet him at his level, and you don't get in his face, and you don't bring it to Brock, even in the context of what we do, he's gonna eat you alive. And I think that's the biggest thing with me and Brock is that, you know, I think from the first day we met or even touched, you know, like, he throws an elbow, it's a little bit, you know, funky. All of a sudden, you know, I'm throwing elbows a little bit weird. You know, he want to push out that jab a little tough, and all of a sudden I'm pushing out the jab. But he feeds off that. He likes that, man. He's the type of cat that he's a full contact dude.
But just the balls that it takes to find that out. Like to find out, because there's a good chance that he doesn't feed off of you throwing elbows at him.
Oh,
you know what I
no,
mean?
no,
Like
yeah.
that's a gutsy decision that you made.
And in all honesty, and this is not something I wear around like a badge of pride, but you know, I've been beaten up by the toughest men in the world, and men tougher than Brock Lesnar. So
Wow.
It's not
Can you name names?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been punched in the liver by Boss Rutan, and still I'm walking today. I mean, like, don't clap for that. Look at your ass. Yeah, man. Yeah. Liver punches.
They were chanting your name a minute ago. Now they're like, yeah, punch him in the liver again.
Pea blood, dog. Pea blood.
But is there a moment like in that match where like he throws you or something like that, and you go, okay, that's what this is?
I mean, yeah. I mean, dude's strong, man. He's
Yeah.
gonna be. I mean, anytime you get thrown by a dude, you're like, damn, man. I was getting heavy on him. He still got me up. No. He is honestly, and I've been in the ring with a lot of like world class, you know, athletes, and he is by far one of the most physically impressive people that you could ever be in a ring with.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Do you have that when you're in the ring with somebody who's aggressive like that? You've been in the ring with a lot of aggressive people, I'm sure, and they throw something hard at you, and you throw something hard back at them. Do you instantly sense that chemistry of like, oh, we're doing this, and this is good?
I wouldn't call it chemistry. I'm just really egotistical. So if you're gonna hit me in the face real hard, I'm like, that ain't hard, you know. Like, and I think that's the attitude. Obviously, you know, you're in there with guys, and there's always gonna be different levels of aggression and energy and adrenaline. But you know, my thing is, you know, I'm gonna let you take that first shot, and then. based off of how straight you're shooting, we're gonna see how straight I shoot. So
you allow them to set the pace, but
I'm very, very generous. I will let you set the pace, but if you don't get the job done on that first shot, trust me, I'll get it done on the next few.
yeah, you're gonna feel it. What is there anything that you look at this match with AJ Styles at SummerSlam? Do you in your head want to make this the quintessential Samoa Joe AJ Styles match, or is this I'm just going into this like any other match? I want to make it as best as I can possibly make it.
I think the sense that me and AJ, we recognize the legacy, we recognize where we're at this point in our careers, and we recognize this opportunity. And I think, we both have put a lot of personal pressure on ourselves to go out there, put on the match that everybody remembers that night, and I think that's our goal. We're not going out there to, participate or be a part of the extravaganza. We're going out there to be SummerSlam. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure AJ is. So we'll get down.
Yeah, I have no doubt. Were you a fighter as a kid? Like, is that something? Because I can't, believe it or not, Joe, I can't relate to that mentality. If somebody hits me hard, I'm falling down and playing dead until they leave. I don't understand that mentality of like, okay, I'll hit them hard too, and we'll just keep hitting each other for a while.
Well, if you're good, that doesn't happen. Hey,
it ends quicker than that.
Yeah, usually. No, okay. I have feelings about fighting. I am not a proponent of street fights. I think they're the dumbest exercise known to man. I think nobody has ever been in a street fight and has come out financially or legally better after the deal. So I think they're dumb, and I don't participate in street fights, and I think they're a horrible, horrible thing, and I really hope none of you do too. I have been involved in a few assaults.
Okay, I don't know how comfortable I am with a follow-up.
Because I'm just saying, I just don't get the point in squaring up and talking a bunch of trash and then fighting when it's just far easier just to hit the guy in the back of the head, laugh with your friends, and then leave very, very quickly before authorities come.
Yeah, it's probably the smarter thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, you know what? Switch up your game a little bit, guys. Try it out. It might work out.
Are you good about that?
Hey, remember when I told everybody to commit assault?
Are you good about that? About like if you feel that sort of anger building up, to being like, wait a minute, this doesn't benefit my bank account whatsoever. I'll be.
It's really hard to get me angry. Like, it really is. I mean, there's nothing you can say that hasn't been said to me over 18 years, traveling every ring in the world. And being on social media for the majority of that time, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you could curse everybody that I know and love in the world, and really, I would just look at you for the fool that you are. It's a dumb process, and if you're gonna fight, get paid for it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. How does the strength of Braun Strowman compare to Brock Lesnar? You've been in the ring with both these guys. Both appear to be genetic
Brock
freaks.
is a bit more of a explosive strength. I mean, it's real fast and quick and impactful. And Braun's more of a, he's like, he got old man strength. He grunts before everything he does. Like if he sat down, he'd be like, oh, he gets the microphone on. How am I get this microphone? So it's a different in speed and intensity, but they're both very, very strong individuals.
Was there anything you learned? I mean, I'm sure you're always learning even at this point, but is there anything specific that you learned about the business that kind of clicked in once you got to WWE? I mean, obviously you'd been familiar, you'd been in developmental, you knew what WWE was, how they did their product, but once you're there doing WWE TV, doing Raw, SmackDown pay-per-views, was there anything when you went, oh, this is what they do differently. This is what makes this.
Yeah, they just do it a whole lot more all the time. I think that's the biggest thing, man. Like, with any company that you come from, WWE has the most intensive schedule of any sports entertainment / wrestling company in the world. And it doesn't even hit the first week. And it's like your fourth week out of being gone 4 to 5 days out of your week. you kind of realize like, wow, this is my life now. This is not just a job. This isn't something I do. Like, the road is where I live the majority of my life. So it's I think it's kind of like a shocking realization, but everybody kind of gets over it and gets used to it, and then you move on from there. Life
continues. Do you see yourself in a position in either WWE or the wrestling business in general for all your life? Like, do you see yourself getting out of the ring and then doing kind of what you did in developmental, training people and producing or doing whatever, or once you're done in the ring, are you done?
If I have something that I can contribute and my participation in the industry is going to make it better, I'm all for it. I'm definitely not going to stick around longer than I'm welcome. So, but that being said, I know I've been in talks with WWE and several other people about at some point in my life doing some more backstage stuff. So, I'd love to be involved in the development of a lot of the newer wrestlers. And my time at NXT, I really enjoyed, and I think that the program and the culture that they're starting down there is something special, and I wouldn't mind being a part of it later in life.
I'm going to tell you something. Samoa Joe, and I hope you guys are paying attention to every word that he says, because he's dropping pearls of wisdom that go way beyond wrestling, that go into life. And wait, before you clap, there was something that he just said that is the lesson for everybody. He said, I've been having talks with WWE and a bunch of other people to talk, and you know what that is? That's the beginning of a great negotiation. That's letting you know, like, I'd love to be here. I don't need to be here. It's smart.
I know. The CBS people keep beating down my door. And I'm like, not now. A&E was just here. Just relax.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. Joe, I'd like to give the fine folks here at SummerSlam 4 at Caroline's on Broadway the opportunity to ask you some of their questions. Would you be willing to answer them?
Just a couple.
All right, just a couple. We'll be back. Stay tuned. Welcome back at SummerSlam 4. Caroline's on Broadway. They love you.
You did your carnival barker voice. Welcome back to Caroline's on Broadway. Sam Roberts podcast here.
Yeah.
Great big night. Samoa Joe here. Alexa Bliss here earlier. Lovely young woman.
That's right. I'm the last professional broadcaster, Samoa Joe.
Thank you,
There's Kathy Kelly.
Appreciate you.
The Grand Master of Ceremonies. Did you hear? They said no to the martini.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably smart. Let's go to the questions here. We're here with Samoa Joe at Caroline's on Broadway, packed house here, and the audience would like to ask some questions to the man who will be competing for the WWE Championship this Sunday at SummerSlam. Samoa Joe, Kathy, who do we have first?
We have John. What's your question, John?
Who's your favorite MMA fighter?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Is it Brock Lesnar?
No.
Oh.
It isn't. Favorite MMA fighter? All time, Kazushi Sakuraba, just for what he did in the industry and being the first guy to beat the Gracies and the first pro wrestler to represent the sport like somebody should.
You get that?
No, that ain't hey, hold on, whoa. You unhistorical, non-knowing your history fools.
Don't ruin my clickbait, Joe.
Yeah. I'll give you some clickbait and I'll ruin it. Did that this morning. Salty kid at the Wrestling Ring World News Network.com. Sakuraba, he was the first pro wrestler first guy to beat any of the Gracies, man. This is years before Brock and all these cats now, so be easy with your oohs, all right? All right, next.
We have Aldrin from Queens.
Hey, Joe. Out of all the dream matches I want for you to have in WWE, what would you have more, Cena or Orton?
Interesting question. I look at them both kind of equally as opportunities. I think I lean slightly towards Orton more because I've never stepped into the ring with him and faced him. But I'd be more than happy to beat up John Cena. Far better than AJ.
Do you have dream matches in the sense that this is something I want to do professionally in my career, or is the dream match the money match?
I have dream circumstances. Like I don't have like dream matches is like I'd love to wrestle John Cena with his parents in the front row so they can cry as I beat him unconscious. But I don't. Yeah, dream matches. I'm kind of up for whatever.
Right. Who's next, Kathy?
Lots of people from Queens. We have Jennifer here.
Did we put all the people in Queens over there?
Yeah.
Hi, Joe. How do you manage your time with the social life, and if you have a relationship, how do you manage that?
Ooh.
Oh, speaking of shooting their
Well,
shots.
Well,
Okay.
let's talk about this a little bit. Yeah, let's get the lights down low. Can I get the silk stockings theme on, possibly? So that is the great struggle I think all of us deal with, and honestly, you kind of break into a routine. You know, I live my life in two different worlds. You know, one on the road and one at home. People say, oh well, you know, it's not really. No, it is. It's two different worlds. You know, and when I'm on the road, you know, you kind of concentrate on the stuff that's kind of centered around the job, going to the gym, you know, finding hotels, kind of keeping up, you know, the ship as you're rolling along. And then when I'm home, you know, I definitely make an effort just to be 100% home. You know, I think the biggest thing is learning how to disconnect, and that's something all of us can learn, man. Is just when you get off your job and you're home with your family, just be home with your family, and you know, take the time to be with them and exist in their world, and shut off the work life for a little bit. And the sooner you can learn to do that, the more sane you stay, especially in this industry.
How long, when you first started, how long into this business did it take for people in the business to understand, yes, you're Samoan, no, you're not in the Anawa'i family?
We're still fighting that struggle.
Samoa Joe, that's Rock's cousin, right?
Let's see, listen, I ain't gonna big a rant on this, but you know, there's different levels of racism. And you know, my brothers in here, y'all have been dealing with your racism, and Samoan racism is it's a little lighter, and we have just like kind of stereotypical things that say, hey, we're all related, all of us, and we do nothing to help that stereotype, because you know, I'm sure you ask any of my cousins if they related to the Rock, they'll be like, oh yeah, Rock, yeah. Dwayne? Oh, you mean Dwayne? Dwayne?
DJ?
Oh, DJ? Oh, you talking about DJ? Oh, okay. Oh, he said The Rock. Yeah, no, DJ. We call him DJ. Yeah, but no, yeah, and Samoa, you know, and I tell people like Samoa Joe was it was kind of just a weird circumstantial thing. You know, I was just starting out in wrestling. There was two dudes in the gym named Joe, and of course, instead of calling the other guy Caucasian Joe, all of a sudden I'm Samoa Joe.
Yeah. Do you guys understand white privilege now?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you now?
Do you get it?
Do you get it yet? It's real.
Oh God! I did not want that to become a tempo for that. No, so yeah. Oh, call him Samoa Joe. So it was a gag. Like it was a gag valet gimmick. You know, like, you know, I have the stereotypical Samoan guy who's kind of like with this other dude. And the funny thing is I was pretty decent at this wrestling thing, and promoters started asking for Samoa Joe, and I got so terrified of changing my name because I liked the work. You know, I couldn't show up the next week and be, you know, Johnny Thunder Mountain. It just wouldn't work. So the name stuck, and next thing you know, I was hired full time in a company, and they were calling me Samoa Joe, and man, I might as well trademark the name, and here I am.
That's it. That's it. Who's next, Kathy?
We got Ernest from Brooklyn.
Joe, what's good, man?
It was good. Oh yeah. Oh, he is from Brooklyn. All right.
Yo, by the way, Sam, I appreciate the very woke moment that you had there on white privilege. So shout out to you. But yo, I want to switch gears a little because I know you're a rap fan. You're into rap. While they.
Yeah, I got my dude DNA, battle rap king in the house. Where you at?
Where's
My
DNA?
man right back there. Yes. Hey, give it up for his ass while I whip your mouth.
SoundCloud.
Yeah.
SoundCloud.
Where's the champs? DNA.
So my question is more tailored on that. And recently we just had a battle between two popular rappers in Pusha T and Drake. Now, if these two rappers
Wait. How'd that first part go?
Yo, between Pusha T and Drake, we had a rap battle. Very short-lived.
Was it really a battle?
Exactly. It wasn't really. But let's say they were to get into the ring. Who would you want to train to help beat the other, Drake or Pusha T, and why?
What a question.
This got levels.
Have you ever been asked that
It's
before?
got levels. Well, you know, there's always inherent beef with whoever I train. So if I train Drake, I'm all good in Houston. That much I do know. But if I train Pusha, now I got problems. And I got to go hang out with Kanye and Trump all the time. But I heard the golf resort and the shoes are dope. I think we all know Drake needs the help, so I think I trained Drake just because
Good answer.
brother take enough L's to try to help him out a little bit.
That means you're going to have to buy that MAGA hat, just
Yeah.
so you know. You got to pay full price now.
Yeah.
Kath-
I think I got his offense worked out. I'm going to do that Kiki challenge, then do elbow drop. It would be great.
Who's next, Kathy?
We have Jaden from the Bronx.
Hi, Joe. If you were to be AJ Styles for the championship, who would be your next?
Man, you change your verbiage around. When?
When?
There we go.
Who would you like to be your next target?
My next target?
Joe will be the only champion that targets people himself.
Yeah. I kind of like that. That's a good argument.
Yeah. You go around
But-
challenging
yeah,
challengers.
yeah. Just walking around. Hey, you know who I am? I'm the I don't know. I think we got something. Oh, I spilled my water.
Joe, you're important. You let that water spill.
Oh, I just remembered I don't give a fuck.
Doesn't say Joe's, it says Caroline's. You know, it's not
She'll
your
clean
issue.
it up. She got money.
So who would you want to? Who's somebody you would like to defend the WWE champion against as champion? Okay,
Hey, am I
maybe
answering
Joe
this question?
answers.
Damn, man.
Just run down the roster.
Where's your
Well, you just,
dog?
you
Seriously, I'm big lips. I'll knock you out. I think Randy Orton's definitely a guy that's up there. John Cena. I mean, when you look at the SmackDown roster, it's a laundry list of matchups, and any one of those, I'm with it.
James Ellsworth shout out. Okay.
Like, you'll go home and you'll say, that's the thing. Yo, I said James Ellsworth. It was dope. No, he was up there. I was like, James Ellsworth. And everybody's like, oh, damn, dog. That was a good one.
Listen back.
Yeah,
They're talking.
Yo, run it back. It's at 8:15 in the second half.
Yeah. No. Don't listen to the follow-up. Don't listen
Yeah.
to this. Kathy, where are we?
We're with Gary in the back.
Hi, Joe. I'm just training to be a wrestler. I want to know if you have actual good, solid advice. I guess. Not that none of it was good.
Okay.
But,
First of all, the
good-
qualification for
Something
that.
that is just that it relates to me and me being better right now. No. Hey, dude, honestly, just learn from other people's mistakes. I think it's the easiest thing in the world. It's not just wrestling, it's everything. Like, if you're doing drills and you see somebody messing up, learn why they messed up and then make the correction before you go up there. And that goes for everything from observing the people around you, seeing what they're doing. Just a wise man learns from his mistakes. A brilliant man learns from the mistakes of others. Please, just shut your mouth and learn from the mistakes of others, and you will go very, very far. Trust me.
It's great advice. It really is amazing when you watch people, they'll even laugh at a person doing something wrong.
That kills me. I'll see a drill line, a guy's working out, and a guy will mess up. The dude behind him in the drill line will laugh at the guy who messed up in front of him and then proceed to mess up the exact same way the dude did, and it just drives me crazy.
Who's next, Kathy?
You have Keon over here in a Samoa Joe shirt.
Oh, he bought one of those shirts that got you hired.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Sam. It's
What's
Keon
up,
Torres here from Harlem, New York. What's up, Samoa Joe?
Oh, you definitely from Harlem. You got a whole intro and everything.
Yeah, he does.
Damn.
I've been
Representing out here.
You already know, Joe. You already know. So I've been a long-time fan of yours since your early Ring of Honor days. Punk versus Joe 2, classic match. Also, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Joe from TNA. And those are my favorite matches of all time. So my question is there anybody in WWE, NXT, New Japan, Ring of Honor, or anywhere else in the Indies would you like to wrestle that you haven't wrestled yet?
I've wrestled most everybody. That I haven't wrestled yet. I think in WWE, I think we've already touched on a few of those guys. Outside of WWE, I think Matt Riddle, the stuff that he's doing is amazing.
Wow.
I do. I think this is a guy. And I know a lot of guys who've tried to make the transition from MMA to pro wrestling and have failed incredibly. I think Matt gets it. I think he's in it and he loves it, and he's definitely a guy that's on my radar that I think is doing awesome things out there.
What about somebody I heard, I don't know who said it, but somebody mentioned Triple H. That's a guy who obviously you have a good professional relationship
I
with.
do. And honestly, I think I would love to get in there and mix it up with him. It's when you think of all-time great guys who are still like incredibly active and incredibly capable, I think Triple H is definitely one of those guys, and I'd love to get in there with him.
Yeah. Who's next, Kathy? There you are.
John from the Bronx.
Hey, Samoa Joe. I've been a big fan.
Hey,
there are a lot of good intros for all these questions.
I've been a big fan of yours for the last 13 years, and not only am I a pro wrestling fan, but I'm also a video gamer, and I'm wearing a Crash Bandicoot T-shirt, as you can see. Now, my question is, or do you prefer Xbox One or PlayStation 4?
Whoa, you got to take a side, dude.
We rock with Xbox over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Xbox. Sorry, Crash Bandicoot.
Hey, look at all you bitter PlayStation 4 people out there. Like, what are you talking? Why are you guys loyal to a brand? First off, like y'all paid a ton of money for a system, and then you're like, oh, this is my jam, and any other system's dirt. It's like, what? Like, no, honestly, to be honest with you, I have every system, so it's like, I ain't trying to be like, oh, I'm Xbox guy or PlayStation guy, because I'm rich and I can be every guy I want to be. I'm a Switch guy. I'm a Neo Geo guy. Yeah. I got pinball machines. Man, I almost bought a skee ball machine. You don't know who you playing with, man. I'm an arcade guy, all right?
Yeah. That's why people pick loyalties, because most of us need to feel better about the fact that we just dropped $300 on a system. You, on the other hand.
No. You should see the flip-top laptop one I just had made up in my hotel room. It's great, man.
And he'll throw it out when he's done. He's got it like that.
My Allen Iverson, all my game systems, I just show up in the city. I'll leave it there for the maid. She'll like
it. Who's next?
We've got Havan.
From Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
My question is this. You got a lot of these attitude guys like The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, who push the envelope.
These guys, right?
These guys.
You got all these guys that push the envelope, but for some particular reason, like in today's wrestling, a lot of these superstars seem pretty scared.
I'm going to stop you right there. In wrestling? In wrestling?
No, in WWE.
No, in life, man. If I walk outside, man, if I was to call you a name right now, boy, I'd be destroyed on social media. We living in a different world, man. That's the real reason. And it had nothing to do with us or the corporation. That's what I get. Everybody's like, man, WWE's corporate, so it's not crazy anymore. It ain't corporate. This is the world we live in. Like, we have new responsibilities and new sensitivities to people out there. And that's just the reality of the situation, whether you agree with it or not. So, I hear people talking all the time, and we got to push the envelope. To me personally, I think we need to find a new way to push the envelope. I think we need to find a new way to tell the narrative. That doesn't involve me calling you this or that, or doing it the old way. And I think that evolution is an important part of all forms of entertainment. And it's just not the climate. I'll be honest with you. I'm being as real as I can. Like, this is not the climate for that. People right now, they ain't feeling that. And it's not like, oh, it's a bad thing and it's cool, but the squares don't like it. Nah, nobody's feeling it. Nobody's feeling all that stuff that was in the Attitude Era. If you trust me, put on a show that's not WWE today, do all the stuff that we did back in the Attitude Era today, it'd be canceled tomorrow, and 17 people would be fired. That's just the reality of the situation. So, hey, we're coming upon this new frontier. We're learning about what people want, and that's what we provide entertainment for people to watch, for a general, grander, scope of people to watch. And I think a lot of cats forget that, is that we're entertaining the world. And you have your personal taste. You have things that you liked, and that's cool. And I ain't going to fault you for that. And they're not wrong. Those are your tastes and your like. What I'm saying is the world as a whole is taking on a new tone, and it has new ideas and new thoughts, and they feel different ways about things. And we, as a company, as a wrestling company, not just WWE, I hope all wrestling companies, New Japan's making an effort to clean house with their shop. And there's a reason why. It's because it's a different world, and people just ain't feeling that stuff anymore. And if that's the case, we as entertainers, we as performers, we need to adjust accordingly and do what we can to take the focus off the BS, because you come to us to escape all that and put the focus on entertainment and making sure you come here, you come to a WWE show, you come to a wrestling show, you're going to come to a show where you can forget about all that for once and enjoy something and engross yourself in something completely and fully. And I think that's why we're not there anymore. And I'm cool with that.
Give that man a round of applause. Because it is true. I mean, WWE and wrestling tend to be a reflection of the culture that they're entertaining. You look at the Attitude Era,
and I get this all the time. Like, you look back with this nostalgia, and that's awesome. You should, never forget what made you enjoy this. But at the same time, this is a new world, and these are new people that are coming in and watching what we do, and they feel differently than people did back then, and that's cool. So. I mean, the onus is on us to keep adjusting our product and keep evolving so that we can follow those trends in society. It was hot in the Attitude Era because it followed societal trends. I don't know what that says about society back then, but but it's the truth. And now we're following societal trends now, and hopefully when something clicks and all the right pieces are in place, it makes for a big boom and everybody's happy. So, that's just basically the lay of the land with that.
And you're talking to a guy who, in order to build a WWE Championship match, is going after a man's wife and children and saying, "Why aren't you being edgy anymore?"
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I mean, I was gonna try to push over one of his kids on TV or something, but they got all weird about it.
Yeah, can't do that anymore. Can't do that anymore. Who's next, Kathy?
Justin from Long Island.
You can hold it. Okay.
Kathy knows what she's doing.
Okay. First of all,
Dude,
Sam is
Kathy,
the man.
Kathy,
Been a fan of Sam for such a long time.
Just bump him on the chin real quick. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Who knows? So this was going to be a question for Alexa Bliss, but I'd actually want to hear Joe's response for it.
Oh boy.
What Disney villain would make would make the best WWE superstar? Is it Scar?
I think it's a better question for Joe personally.
Yeah. Man, you were so sad you didn't get to ask Alexa that question. I was going to ask this to Alexa, but I guess you're fine. The best Disney villain? Now, Scar, no, he doesn't want to get into physical scraps. So he might not be the best guy. I think the Sheriff of Nottingham from the original Robin Hood movie, he'd be perfect.
Prince of Thieves?
No, man, you are...
I thought it was good.
Just take a little. Stop talking on your podcast so much.
Sheriff of Nottingham, it is. Kathy, who's next?
We have Dan from Levittown.
Hey Joe, hey Sam. Joe, how do you feel about beach balls in the crowd during matches?
That's a good question.
No. Listen,
not that I use them or anything.
Here's how I feel about beach balls in the crowd. You've gone out of your way. You've paid a good amount of money for a ticket. You've arrived at the arena. You've watched these guys in the ring, and they're working very hard to entertain you. And despite all that, you've taken a beach ball. You've decided to bounce it around an arena, and that's entertained you. You've spent a lot of goddamn money to bump around a beach ball. And honestly, if that's your thing, I'm not big on sweating people and their stuff. I think words and actions only have except for actions that involve physically against you. I think words and most actions only have as much power as you give them. And if you choose to do that and you choose to engage in that behavior as a fan, then really you're there for you. You're there to be seen, not to see wrestling. And if that's the case, that's fine. You bought your ticket, you can do whatever you want. But you are paying a great disservice to the guys who are making a genuine effort in that ring and are hurting themselves and are going out of their way to entertain you. And you're basically spitting in their face. You're saying, listen, I know you've dedicated yourself to this. I know that you've gone to all this effort to put this event together. I've come. I'm a paying customer. And because I'm a paying customer, I have every right to disparage what you're doing through my acts, to take attention and to take over the show and have the focus of the show be on me, not on the action in the ring. You bought your ticket. You can do that. But just know you're an asshole.
And don't be using that quote out of context. You put that in a beautiful context.
Please. No, it's going to be done. Samoa Joe says, all fans are assholes.
Who do we have, Kathy?
Brendan from Harlem.
What up, Joe? How you doing?
What's up?
I got a question. It's one of my favorite promos of all time, but what was your reaction to the Scott Steiner Numbers Don't Lie promo?
Well, first of all, you're shaming me, so I don't appreciate that. Okay, I watched the promo as it was being filmed, and I was off camera and I was dying laughing. What you guys don't know is that like the promo actually broke 6 or 7 times because Petey Williams couldn't keep his shit together. And Scotty's math just got better and better every take. It was funny. I actually do remember the scene because I had walked up on the promo, and Scotty's cut it. And I am a huge from my experiences and work with Scott, I'm a huge Scott Steiner fan as a person and as a wrestler. And I've had obviously different experiences than other people, but and so you know, and one of the things that I'm big on is that like, you know, when it comes to me and in the ring stuff, like you're talking about Samoa Joe out there, and I'm trying to sell a fight, and whatever you need to say about me to sell that fight, let's sell that fight. And so it's funny, like I get cats coming up to me like, oh, you know, that Scott Steiner thing that really bug you or whatever, ha ha ha, or they try to approach me with it like I'm gonna be like all offended or like, oh, I kind of ticked them off. Like there is that little bit of like, hey, let's poke the bear, and I'm always like, yeah, it was a funny promo, it was cool, you know. And then they're just like, oh no, you're supposed to get mad and be like, oh, you know. And I'm just like, dude, like, yeah, that was a brilliant piece of business that got eyes on the product. And I'm just sad that, you know, it went viral after the fact and not before the pay-per-view because, you know what I mean, that's what we really needed it, you know.
That's also how you know that TNA did not have their business together, the fact that there's not a DVD with every outtake of that promo.
Oh, it's funny now they do their streaming service, and I think it's pretty much predicated on footage of me and that promo. That's the main draw.
All right, let's do 2 more questions. Kathy, who is the second to last question?
Mike from Syracuse, and then I actually have to hand off the microphone to Hot Dog because I have to go. So.
All right, Hot Dog.
Ooh, hot date, huh?
Hot Dog.
With WWE now.
Okay.
How's it going? My question is, what do you think it's going to take for the SmackDown Championship to get the actual respect of closing a show?
Me being champion.
There it is. By the way, that's the, see his mustache?
Yeah.
That's the young version of my dad's mustache right now.
Oh, it is.
You see, that's the young version, and that's what it becomes. So, sir, decide if you want to commit now, because that's where it goes.
And sir, also, do you want to have one of these at some point?
I got my own jacket. So, yeah, that's what you think it needs, the WWE Championship to headline a pay-per-view needs Samoa Joe?
Sometimes you need a real champion to make the championship headline.
That's right.
I am that champion.
There it is.
Vote Samoa Joe. Thank you very much.
All right, Hot Dog. Who's the final question? Make it a good one. This is on you, Hot Dog.
Last one is David from Queens.
By the way, who do we like better, Kathy or Hot Dog?
Hot Dog. Hot Dog.
That's the answer. They're both great. You guys are just so wonderful.
So one of the most notable matches between you and AJ was from Unbreakable 2005, along with Christopher Daniels. Aside from that match, which match between you and AJ stands out the most throughout your 18-year career?
I would love to answer that question, but I have no idea what date I wrestled AJ on, as I've probably wrestled him more than any other human being in the world. I know there was a singles match that we had in there somewhere that was pretty good. So, take your pick, man. I really have no idea what pay-per-view it was.
I'll tell you what the answer is. The one you're about to have this Sunday night at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship.
Where were you 30 seconds ago, jackass?
Well, I didn't know if you were going to get there on your own. By the way, free to new subscribers.
Free
to
new subscribers.
It's free. I want to thank Caroline's on Broadway for housing us this afternoon. Sirius XM, of course, for broadcasting us. Most of all, my guests, both Alexa Bliss and this man, Samoa Joe. And all of you, because you've been wonderful. I mean, wonderful. By the way, who's coming back tonight? Okay.
Can Graves come out to the Silk Stockings intro?
I will find
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good song.
Yeah, any wrestling fan will get any Silk Stockings reference. They should, if they're a real fan. Thank you all. This has been SummerSlam 4. Make sure you tune in to SummerSlam Sunday night, 7 p.m. special start time on the WWE Network. And thanks again, Joe. We'll see you all next year.